This is without a doubt one of my favorite Spider-Man movies ever. So I just saw this movie, and what can I say? This movie is absolutely amazing. I'm not gonna lie, going into this movie, I was thinking, okay, it's gonna be pretty good. But leaving the theater, I was just an awestruck. There were so many points in this movie where my jaw literally dropped. And there were moments where I laughed. I loved how this movie basically tried to focus more on Gwen. And I loved how we got to see how Gwen basically was trying to explain to her dad how her being Spider Gwen is really her just trying to help people, just like how he's being the cop trying to help people. Because I thought that was kind of a little neat thing, because that is the thing with Spider Man, with any Spider Man. Spider Man's always trying to help people. Most of the public thinks that Spider Man's trying to hurt people when that's never the case. I also loved how Miles and Gwen actually had a little bit more stronger feelings towards each other. Because if you actually watch it, you could definitely tell like that they like each other. Miles and Gwen have moments where they can actually understand each other, because they did this Into the Spider-Verse as well, where when they would talk, they would understand exactly what each other's struggles were. And that's the thing with Spider-Man is the only person who can understand Spider-Man struggles is, well, Spider-Man. And so seeing how Gwen and Miles can understand like what they've gone through and how they've really been through so much is really neat to see. And that's kind of even what happened in No Way Home too. I really loved how there were even other different Spider-Man coming from all the other universes together. There was Spider-Punk, there was Spider-Man 2099, which obviously he had a big important role in this movie, which I'll get to in a minute. And then they had Scarlet Spider, they had Spectacular Spider-Man. Yes, Spectacular Spider-Man even returned. I was so shocked when I saw him, because I was thinking, oh my gosh, like they're actually bringing Spectacular Spider-Man back. And then they even had moments where they showed Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man on screen. And they even had PS4 Spider-Man. So it just really goes to show you that this movie was trying to get every Spider-Man that they could in this movie. And it gets me even excited to see what Beyond the Spider-Verse is going to do, because they're going to try to go beyond it. So I'm kind of wondering, are they going to go into more of like a live action setting, since we saw live actors in this movie? And Peter B. Parker came back, and this time he was a parent. And this is awesome, because this is great character development, because from the first movie, he didn't want to have kids, but seeing how him and MJ finally settled down and Peter B. Parker is happy is really neat to see. I will say, though, I definitely miss his sarcasm from the first movie, but seeing him in this movie was really cool, because it just was really neat to see how he was happier now. And the reason he had his new kid was because of Miles, because he wanted the kid to be just like Miles. On my point about 2099 Spider-Man, 2099 Spider-Man was really neat, because I loved how he was basically this guy where he was the watcher of the multiverse. And basically, he explained how the Spider-Man canon worked. This movie looks amazing. I just gotta say that right now. Like, this movie looks absolutely fantastic. It looks miles better. Get it? Miles. It looks a lot better than the first movie by a landslide, because the first movie was really good looking, but I think this movie just really outdoes the first one in so many ways. And I really love how this movie had a more mature tone in it, because it talks about, the struggle of being Spider-Man. I also really liked the Spot in this movie. Now, the Spot is actually a really cool villain. Not many people know of the Spot, but I actually knew the Spot from the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. So seeing the Spot in this movie, it was really cool to see. And I liked how his whole motive was basically to show Miles that he's not a joke. And it's kind of cool to see how he actually had a little bit of an origin story, how he was actually in that lab when Peter B. Parker and Miles were breaking in. He was able to have this power to travel through all the multiverses. It was really cool to see. So I'm definitely thought that spot was really cool. I loved how they got to this point where like Miles was trying to stop, like he wanted to prevent his dad from being the one who's going to get killed. And I just want to say right now, I'm really looking forward to Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. You know, honestly, I wasn't really expecting much going into this movie. I thought it was just going to be a pretty good movie because, you know, I watched Into the Spider-Verse and I thought it was cool. And after I rewatched Into the Spider-Verse a few days ago, it made me just love it even more. And I think Into the Spider-Verse became one of my favorite Spider-Man movies. But going into this movie, it just made me love Across the Spider-Verse the most. And I think Across the Spider-Verse is without a doubt one of my favorite Spider-Man movies of all time. And I don't bluff when I say that. I'm just really excited to see what Beyond the Spider-Verse is going to be. And I just love how it all ended with Miles the wrong dimension and he found Uncle Aaron. And seeing how he found his Uncle Aaron and he found out that he was in the wrong universe, it just really was crazy to see. And just seeing how the end is with the OG Spider-Man team from Into the Spider-Verse and how we saw Gwen and Peter B. Parker and Spider-Man Noir and Penny Parker and Spider-Ham, that was really neat to see. I definitely think that this movie delivered in so many ways. If you guys have seen this movie, what do you guys think about this movie? And comment down below, what was your favorite part of this movie? That's all I have to say, so I guess I'll just see you guys in the next one. Peace!